Principality of Self-Bitterness, Part 7. Satan uses self-bitterness against us. Here, instead of being bitter toward others, we are bitter toward ourselves. Self-bitterness provides or produces an inability to forgive ourselves. Have you ever struggled with unforgiveness toward yourself? I have. Our ministry experience is that many people cannot say, I forgive myself. Unforgiveness of ourselves leads to self-resentment. It says, I can never do anything right. The harder I try, the worse things get. I never have been any good, never will be any good. I'm just a nobody. I don't like the way I look. Daddy was right. I'll never amount to anything. This kind of self-talk buffers and bruises us, leaving us too weak to withstand Satan's onslaught. Now, if your father or mother used to talk to you like that when you were a child, it is best that you firstly forgive them for what they did. Self-resentment leads to self-retaliation. This will cause us to react strongly and negatively to someone who accuses us. Our negativity results in their rejection of us, which is what we expected in the first place. We go into these situations with our eyes wide open because we have need to be rejected. Then the unloving spirit starts accusing us, telling us that we're not loved, causing a spiraling down. The worse we are, the worse we get. Before long, we have developed a continual pattern of victimization. What drives a battered woman back to a husband who beats her? She has developed a need to be beaten in order to reinforce her self-hatred. Self-retaliation results in self-hatred. Though she now truly is a victim, she needs the beating or a threat of the beating to fulfill her need to hate herself. That belief is an absolute lie, but the unloving spirit accuses her and drives her back to her abuser. Victimization, oddly enough, is a type of control. It gains us attention and can win us support. Outside of our abusive relationship, we win membership in the victims' support groups. We do not have to remain victims. When self-hatred that results in abuse by others becomes dominant, it is a force that takes over, and we are unable to stop the craziness. The only way to break its hold is to totally remove ourselves from the situation, to gain space and cool off. But this presents a new set of problems. When we remove ourselves from a violent situation, but fail to deal with our root problems, the next person we marry or move in with is most often an abuser. We recreate the same situation and hear ourselves say, oh no, here I go again. It is common that when a girl grows up being abused by her father, she marries someone just like Dad. We deal with many women who say, the greatest tragedy of my life is that I tried to get away from my abusive father and I married someone just like him. It is common among 90% of women who deal with from abusive homes. We ask, what do you mean by you married your father? Well, I married a man with the character traits that I most hated in my father, but most often they never see these traits until after their marriage, when the abuse begins. It is essential that if the person you are dating or engaged to shows any evidence of verbal or physical abuse, you must honestly recognize that you are headed for trouble. If your betrothed fails to deal with the spirits that drive him to this behavior, when you get married, you will find that you bought the whole package. If you see patterns of victimization, but hear good intentions that I have changed, be suspicious. Statistically, these sentiments have been proven to be untrue. God designed the husband to provide physical and emotional shelter for the wife. Any other behavior is not of God. God is the only one who can change an abusive man. He needs ministry for deliverance. What has him by the spiritual neck is not some passing emotion. It's an unloving spirit direct from the pit of hell. How do I know that it's an unloving spirit? Because the Bible makes it clear that a man who hates his wife hates himself. They became one flesh in marriage. And if the man is abusing his wife, he is abusing himself. Ephesians 5:31. He hates what God loves. The reverse is also true. Women can hate or dislike men. This usually occurs when their fathers or husbands have been weak and disobedient and have not provided for their families. A daughter may learn this from her mother and transfer it into her marriage. What should you do if you're already in an abusive relationship? Understand that living in an abusive marriage will reinforce the unloving spirits in us. Romans 12, verse 18 says, if it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men. Many pastors who deal with spousal abuse advise an immediate separation. They want to stop the abuse and deal with its causes. Both partners can benefit from this wise counsel. People who are accused by an unloving spirit often pick fights just to get rejected. For instance, a wife with a black eye will parade it in front of others saying, "Look at the black eye I got. Look at what he did to me." Who is actually speaking those words? Unforgiveness, bitterness, self-pity. Some people seem to get up in the morning so demonized that they try to pick a fight all day long until it happens. They set up their day and their relationships so that somewhere along the way there will be a big problem. People accused by unloving spirits split churches, split families, and ruin businesses. They seem bent on finding trouble. What did the Lord say? If at all possible, live peaceably one with another. When two people cannot live together peaceably, it might be time to separate. And I'll be right back with part 8.